The true names of birds. There are more ways to abandon a child than to leave them at the mouth of the woods. Sometimes, by the time you find them, they've made up names for all the birds and constellations, and they've broken their reflections in the lake with sticks. With my daughter came promises and vows that unfolded through time like a road map and led me to myself as a child, filled with wonder for my father, who could make sound from a wide blade of grass and his breath. Here in the stillness of forest, the sun columning before me, temple ancient, that wonder is what I regret losing most. That wonder and the true names of birds. I know women. The first owl was a girl. Punished for being disobedient, she became the bird that would never see the sun. I know women like that, part owl. And I know women who enter rooms like sunshine and turn everything into mirrors. You've turned your mirrors to the wall. You're tired, you say, of seeing yourself. There's something to be said of night, of its darkness. You can walk alone with the image you hold of yourself and nothing contradicts it. Only then do you feel beautiful. And in your night of owls, the trees are full of small girls resting, waiting. Their limbs are pale lavender in the moonlight. This is your punishment, not to have become the owl, but to no longer be the girl. How you loved being her arms so quick to dance, her hair grown only for the wind. Now daytime is a magnifying glass, in the sun starting small fires of shame all over your body. When did you grow so big, so heavy? You'd give your breasts to be that girl again. And though you believe there's a ceremony for everything, some take so long years can pass before you realize how much has changed. Even you are no longer yourself. Again, to be a daughter. Trees die from the top. With even just a hint of disease, they seed harder, then slowly start giving up leaves. And they don't die easy. My maple takes up the whole living room window with its dying. It's exhausting to watch the struggle when wind becomes tangled in its stillness. Sometimes I have to pull the curtains over and turn on the lamp just to be able to read. And there's nothing I can do. There are no recipes to stop death once it's started. Beginnings seem easier, a pale pumpkin seed, earth, the dying maple shadow, and my daughter pirouetting beneath it, throwing its seeds back up to the sky to watch their lazy descent again. She won't notice how bare the top of the tree is, or hear it being pulled back to the ground. She sees only pumpkins and believes in fairy godmothers. If anything, motherhood has made me midnight. Things have turned back into what they were. I've outgrown my shoes, trees turned to seed. There must be something I can pass down to her, some secret. I should tell her to melt her broken crayons and turn them to candles to save for this darkness. My mother had walked too far, her feet too tired to be able to run after me. She called me in at dusk and waited for evening to call again. I only know now what she was trying to show me. Not just trees die from the top. I want to turn into a daughter again. I'd know now to rub her feet and bring her something cool to drink. The moon on Friday night erased all paths to Saturday and swept up footsteps from the day before. It coaxed buttons to the lips of buttonholes and whispered, "You're beautiful, so beautiful," to women who speak the vernacular of loneliness. Softly it slid into the hands of the men they were with and lent its light to everything they touched. "See," the moonlight seemed to say, "there are so many ways to be naked and so many ways to be far from home." The light reminded the women of songs they knew, songs written to gauge distance. Later, still later on this island of Friday night, they sang those songs under their breath as they bent to tie their shoes. And they stayed bent long after their shoes were tied, hearing the wind for the first time caught in a bucket of baby teeth. It was then they remembered they were the tooth fairies, medicine men, and their children's mouths were empty. They knew of light switches, window blinds. They knew to throw sand on fire, to blow at a candle. But this light they knew nothing about, so they carried it home with them. And now they wish they hadn't. It lights up corners they'd kept dark, lights their words and gives them new meaning. At night they hold their husbands' hands to their mouths. Know this light, they pray. Touch me with this light. Sisters. We weren't temples or even bungalows. We were apartments. Small rooms, each of us with no space for storage or sunlight. What was your fire escape snaking to on those long nights filled with dog whistles and sirens? What saved you when our hands couldn't reach each other and our toes stuck to cold metal balconies? When we tried to escape, the fence gave us splinters and we'd wait for the darning needle to blacken in the flame, hiding our fingers behind our backs. We had no idea what else could splinter, what else could break from that childhood and lodge into us. Now, watching our children play in a pool full of rainwater, we think we are brave, heroically brave to be sitting here in lawn chairs doing nothing. But this backyard has a secret path of buried pets, and we can name each angelfish, each canary. Guilt. I can be the perfect mother in a room full of strangers. Use the last of the salt for Play-Doh. I can be Peter Pan. I can even be the mother goat who slices her kids free from the evil wolf's belly. But then I become the wolf. I wake with a gut full of boulders. Each step is hard work. My children's voices narrow to needles. Mine widens to a growl. When my son was born, the baby book said the sound of a mother's heart could be replaced with the ticking of a clock. I am guilty of teaching my son time, of teaching him there's not enough of it, that it runs out, or that it's too late. And he believes me, believed that ticking was my heart. Now this guilt appears when the sun has taken the day underground. I shouldn't yell at my children so much, shouldn't sculpt silence with such passion, imagine it like a tongue on my neck. I bargain them into adulthood for that silence, and then am haunted by the great rolling of all those days beneath me, a protest of how much I've let set with that sun.